delay is because the swimmers still need their breaks and their appropriate rest before that freestyle relay.
Yeah, and usually you would have the diving in there, but we saw it last weekend for efficiency's sake and travel budgets. The men came down, the men divers came down with the women divers. The coaching staff came down. They got all the diving done last weekend. And so where these swimmers would be used to having a diving break and their bodies are conditioned to be able to warm down after this last event before the relay, they need to be able to have that stability here still in this meet. And so it's a good idea to keep it in.
All right, before we get to our competitors for the championship of the 200 breast, let's remind you that live streaming of ACC championship events is made possible by Haviland. For detailed information, results, and stories, visit ACC Championship Central at theacc.com/championships. Haviland, an official corporate partner of the ACC. Patrick Keenis, Warren Perry, along with our producer Andy Blanton with you from the Georgia Tech Aquatic Center. And ready now for the ACC Championship heat of the 200-yard breaststroke, which features last year's winner, Rob Holderness of Florida State. Let's go to the lane assignments in lane one. Clemson junior Mark Schindler out of Metairie, Louisiana. NC State has Nashville, Tennessee native Dan Forsyth in lane two, set the new school record in the 100 breast last year. He's in the final heat for the first time in his career. Taylor Gray, a freshman from UVA, he is in lane three, holds Vermont state records in 5 different events. Anton Lagerqvist, a freshman from Georgia Tech, native of Gothenburg, Sweden. He is in lane 4 and a member of the Swedish junior and senior national teams. Holds the Swedish record in this event for juniors. The defending champion, Rob Holderness of Florida State, senior out of Somerset, England. In his freshman year finished 3rd, sophomore year finished 3rd, won the event last year. He is in lane 5. Vinnie Pryor, UNC senior in lane 6. He's been in the championship heat his entire career. His best finish 2nd back in 2008. Tim Hayes out of Coopersburg, Pennsylvania, senior for UVA. He is in lane 7, making his 2nd championship heat appearance in the 200 breast. And in lane 8 from UVA, Tom Casey, a sophomore from Suffield, Connecticut, finished 5th in this event last year. Virginia has won this race 6 years in a row until Holderness took home the gold last year.
Yeah, we see it's going to be a great race. We see some of the officials for Georgia Tech tightening up that lane rip between lanes 4 and 5 right now. Again, a lot of credit to the Georgia Tech Athletic Department and the campus recreation staff here. The lifeguards working mornings, evenings here, even on staff for this championship swim meet, making sure that everything runs smoothly. So for them to be right on top of an equipment issue, to make sure that these lane rips are tight enough. You don't want loose lane rips when you're swimming. Definitely not something that is promoting a competitive environment. So thanks to those guys for keeping the lane rips tight.
All right, we are now just about ready for the championship heat in the 200-yard breaststroke. ACC conference record, Ryan Hurley 2 years ago from UVA in 1:53.93. Pool record back in 08 of 1:51.96.
And we'll see if Rob can sweep the breaststroke events here. You'll see him there in lane number 5. His strongest part of his race this morning was the third 50, which often is everyone's slowest. So it's a good sign that he may have held back a little bit this morning, just got into the finals. And it's going to concentrate on what he can do in one swim this evening.
And you see Holderness right there in lane 5. Right now running it close 4th, first turn.
Lagerqvist was out actually fastest this morning, 26.3 and 29.5, the first 2 50s. But you're right, we see Vinnie Pryor, Tom Casey, and Rob Holderness there in lanes 5, 6, and 8. The big 3, Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida State sending out their top men in this event.
Tremendous swim so far by Tom Casey down in lane 8, just a sophomore. Made the turn at 26.10. He'll touch the wall here and take a lead. Now we're seeing Holderness make a move in lane 5, and just like that, Holderness bursting into the lead.
Yep, now he's turning it on, 75, built it in, and now he's going to give it all he's got for 100 yards. I'm impressed also that Casey's where he's at right now. He was at a 120, or excuse me, he was at a 57.2. He's at a 55.4 tonight, almost 2 seconds faster out. We'll see if he can hold on. Also, Vinnie Pryor looking really good right now. Here comes Lagerqvist in lane 4. But Rob Holderness controlling this race here with 75 to go.
Yep, Holderness coming to the wall with 50 yards to go. Vinnie Pryor second. Casey hanging on in lane 8. And the final 50, 124.66 for Holderness, trying to defend his title. Watch Vinnie Pryor to his left in lane 6.
He's 2 seconds ahead of his pace this morning. He looks really good. Nice rotation, good speed. His elbows are up. We're looking for efficiency there in his stroke. He doesn't look to be tiring too much. Rob Holderness coming in for another win, I think.
All right, here is Holderness, the champion of this event last year. He will double the effort. It's going to be very close for second. Holderness touches first. It's going to be Gray, Taylor Gray, the Virginia freshman, up for second. And Lagervist finishing third. Vinnie Pryor faded, and he finishes fourth for the Heels. And there is your defending champion, Rob Holderness, in 155.34.
Yeah, that's just business there for the Brit. Rob Holderness getting the 100 and 200 breaststroke titles under his belt for his senior year. And you're right, Vinnie Pryor faded there. Gray from Virginia came up. Only about 0.3 of a second separates second through fourth place there. Tom Casey also fading. Here we see Rob Holderness coming in very strong. Touches the wall, looks to his left to see where Lagervist is and the rest of his squad. Turns around, happy there with a 155.3.
Yeah, touched up his time, his championship time from last year by 0.07 of a second, finishing 155.41 last year.
Good career there for Holderness. Hopefully see him at the NCAA's next month as well.
All right, straight into our final individual events here of the ACC Men's Championships. Bonus consolation, the 200 fly.
Everybody's favorite event, the 200 butterfly.
Yes, it is.
I tell you, I mean, it's a shoulder event. Nobody wants to train for the 200 butterfly. This was my event. It's the last event of the meet. Good Lord, it's just painful sometimes. Go ahead, sorry. I didn't get that in there.
I knew there had to be a story in there somewhere. All right, Hoffman in lane 1 from Duke. Mike Seifert is in lane 2 from NC State. Brooks Gable in 3 from Maryland. Mike Hart of Georgia Tech in 4. Danny Wynn from Florida State in 5. Georgia Tech with Ralph Long in 6. Miles Poster in 7 from Maryland. And Barrett Niesfeld in 8 from NC State. Top to bottom, 1 through 8.
Butterfly, just a very, I think, I mean, I'm partial because I was a butterfly, but I think that the butterfly is a beautiful stroke, and but yet it's the hardest one to train for. So
how did it become your specialty?
What'd you say?
I said, how did it become? I'm using specialty very loosely here, but how did it become your stroke?
This is really interesting. Actually, the first time I ever swam the 200 butterfly, it was at the state championships in North Carolina and ended up winning it. So it just was really random. I was 14 years old. It really, really random. I was swimming for a team that we were preparing for Y Nationals. We were swimming through the state championship, and I was like, I'll swim the 200 butterfly. I'd never done it before. Ended up winning it. So I was like, maybe I should train this a little bit. So that was the pinnacle of my swimming there.
That first day.
Yes, that was great.
It's like a great first date.
But some of the things that you're focusing on here, these guys have 50 yards to go. You're really trying to keep your arms long. Use the walls because you want to rest your shoulders. They do break down there the last 25, 30 yards. Keep your head down. Your head needs to go down before your shoulders. Very important here in butterfly.
All right, Danny Wynn in lane 5 with a small lead. Mike Hart in 4. Seifert of NC State up in lane 2. To the wall we come, and it's going to be Wynn, Seifert, and Hart. 1, 2, 3. 149.17, Danny Wynn from Florida State. There he is.
These guys are slower than they were this morning. 148.6 the top time, but last bonus heat, no scores. Tough time sometimes to do a double for these guys, but Danny there for Florida State. 147.4 is the time he came in at this season, so probably not too happy. We see these guys the last couple yards. Sometimes their shoulders are really strong to get out of the water. We saw that with Wire at the 100 butterfly. The other night, that's how he ended up getting touched out by 100th of a second. But these guys looked like they were finishing pretty strong. Yeah, just not able to cut their times from this morning.
Nice swim by Seifert. Dropped his time from prelim by an even second to finish second. All right, now to the consolation.